They say there was a secret melody, one that David played, and that pleased the Lord. Daniel heard it for the first time when he was a child, in the old church of his neighborhood. He didn't understand the lyrics, but something in it moved him. That word, hallelujah, resonated like a sigh coming from far away, something between love and sorrow. Years later, as an adult, Daniel met Miriam. She had a soft voice, dark eyes, and a way of looking that made the world go quiet. She sang while she cooked, while she swept, even when they argued. Sometimes she sang that old song with a light smile. "Do you know what it means?" he asked her one night. "You don't need to understand it," she said. "You just have to feel it." They lived together in a small apartment with an old piano by the window. Daniel wasn't a believer, but he loved to hear her sing. When she played the chords, it seemed as if the air itself grew clearer. C, E, and G. She played them as if they were a prayer. But love, like music, doesn't always sound pure. With time came the silences, the wounds, the words that hurt. One night, during a fight, Miriam said to him, "You can't love only what shines, you also have to love what hurts." He didn't know what to answer. He closed the door and went to the neighborhood bar. When he returned, she was asleep on the couch, the piano open, and a sheet of paper on the keys. On it, she had written a single word, hallelujah. Years passed. The illness came without warning. Miriam faded slowly, without resentment. Daniel stayed with her until the end, though he didn't know how to pray or what to say. The day they buried her, the sky was gray and still. There were no songs, no flowers, only silence. And yet, in his chest, Daniel felt a note that would not die. A melody that seemed to come from memory, from love, or from something higher than himself. He went back to the apartment. The piano was still there, dusty. He sat down, not knowing why, and began to play the same chords she had loved. At first clumsy, then surer. And as he played, he murmured the words she always sang. "Maybe there's a God above," he thought, "but all I ever learned from love was how to lose." His voice trembled, but he kept going. It wasn't a prayer nor a victory. It was just a broken hallelujah, his own. For months, Daniel returned to the piano every night. He played until dawn, and in every note, it seemed he spoke with her. Sometimes he laughed, other times he cried. He began to play in small bars where people listened in silence. Some cried, others smiled. No one fully understood the song, but everyone felt something when he reached the end and whispered, "Hallelujah." One night, after a concert, a young woman approached him. "Is that song yours?" she asked. "No," Daniel replied. "It belongs to everyone." She told him she also sang, that she knew the lyrics. He smiled. "Sing it as if it were yours. It's the only way to do it right." And she did. The young woman stepped onto the small stage and sang with a pure, trembling voice. Daniel accompanied her on the piano. For an instant, the whole bar became silence, light, breath. He closed his eyes and thought he heard, in the blend of notes and echoes, Miriam's voice. Not as a memory, but as a presence. As if love had never died, only changed its form. When the song ended, the audience didn't applaud right away. It seemed no one wanted to break that moment. Then, one by one, they began to whisper, "Hallelujah, hallelujah." Daniel looked up. The young woman was smiling. "See," she said, "you don't have to understand it." That night he walked home slowly, the warm air on his face. He lit a candle, sat at the piano, and watched the reflection tremble on the keys. "Love isn't always victory," he murmured, "but still, hallelujah." And he played once more, softly, until the candle burned out. In the last chord, when silence filled the room, he finally understood what Miriam had meant. That love, even when broken, is still sacred. That pain, when sung, can also be a prayer. And that sometimes hallelujah isn't a cry of faith, but a sigh of life. The sound faded little by little. The night grew still, and in that stillness Daniel smiled. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.